I'm Charlie, and this is Astro, and welcome to our channel where we talk about all things in the garden both inside and out. Christmas is just around the corner, and are you a plant person who can't get plant things out of your plant mind, and you only want to give plant-related things to your plant friends? Then keep on watching! For the pet owners and the new parents and people with small children in your life, I really highly recommend peperomias. Peperomias come in all sorts of different sizes and colors and shapes like that. This is I believe called Napoli Lights or Peperomia Silver because it has a silver sheen on the leaves. And this one is a Peperomia obtusifolia variegated, and it also comes in a regular non-variegated green form as well. The nice thing about these guys is that they're totally non-toxic for your pets and small children, so you can leave them around, especially if your pet or your children are leaf chewers, which one of my cats in the house tend to be. So it's really nice to have around, and I don't have to worry about him poisoning himself. As far as care goes, they're really easy to take care of. I find that I usually end up doing like a little taco test of kind of squeezing the leaves and seeing how firm it is. If it doesn't really have a lot of give like this one right here, I would say this is pretty well watered. Maybe like in a couple of days I have to water it again when the leaves get a little bit more droopy. Alternatively, I found out for this one particular that if it's really thirsty, it tends to droop from the stem too, so it gets really flat from the top. So that was a really good telltale sign. For something a little bit more bushier like this one, I found that it definitely does flatten out and get a little bit droopier when it does get thirsty. But same thing, the taco test usually I think does well. Peperomias also tend to have very small root systems, so I really would recommend putting in a small pot so they can be nice and like root bound, so that a lot of excess moisture can't get into it, leaving it more perceptible to root rot. I hope that made sense. Quick shout out to Rise Above the Dirt on Instagram. My friend Brandy actually traded me this plant, and that's how we became friends. And she also gifted me a Peperomia Hope, which is another beautiful, beautiful peperomia. Thank you so much, Brandy. I can't wait to share more plants with you. For new plant parents who are really into plants that are fast growing and they kind of lose interest if they don't see progress right away, I recommend Tradescantiads. There's a few different varieties. This one is called a Purple Heart. This one is a green white variegated version. This one is called the Nanook. It has like a pink and green and white with round leaves. And I think the most common one would be this one, which has silver stripes with a purple backing. I personally find that this one is the absolute easiest to grow out of all of them. I see the most amount of progress with this one. It has been super easy to propagate for me. I've tried both soil and water. They are equally fast, I think. Maybe water's slightly faster. Within 2 days I saw root growth coming out, which was... As far as care goes, I try to lift up the pot and see how heavy it is and kind of feel the leaves. If they are a little bit more standing upright like this and not so droopy, it means that they're obviously happy and they're good where they are. But if they are a little bit more droopy like this, or like even these leaves that I'm propagating right now, if they're a little bit more droopy and a little bit more lifeless, I'll go ahead and water it. And also feeling the pot really helps too. I would say also this has like about a few days before I need to water it again. As far as the different ones that I have, I believe this Tradescantia zebrina has been the easiest to take care of and the fastest growing. So if you have new plant parents who have tried their fair share of cacti and things like that and they killed it because they were overwatering and they got kind of frustrated because they weren't seeing the immediate growth, I really, really highly recommend these. Another idea for your basic plant parent, but somebody who's a little bit less of a helicopter parent, a little bit more hands-off, but still likes to interact with their plants quite a bit, I really recommend pothos. I mean, it's kind of a basic choice, I know, but pothos I think are one of the most underrated plants. It can turn your house into a jungle super fast, but I have a marble queen here and a golden pothos, kind of reverting back to jade pothos, but super easy to care for. They'll droop if they need water, and the leaves will feel soft, and the stalks would be not as like upright and happy as these ones. Alternatively, I also recommend these heart leaf shaped philodendrons. They're super adorable. They're heart-shaped. So I mean, if you have a friend or a person you want to show that you love them this Halloween, this holiday season, these are a great way to go about it, I think. So this one is Philodendron Heteroecium Neon, or lemon lime. So it has like lemon lime lighter foliage, and it turns into like this darker foliage eventually. I also have another one that I won't be taking down because it's somewhere over here on a macrame hanger and it's impossible to take it down. But this is a Philodendron Brazil. It just has this like middle stripe here that's a yellowish color, like a light green color. There's many variations of this one as well, where the middle stripe is either yellow, cream colored, lemon lime colored, variegated, and things like that. So there's many options, and they're super easy to take care of. Just like the pothos, I would say it's about the same. If you have a drama queen in your life who really wants something that has a pop of color, that can really be a showy piece in your house, that can be also quite big or small, I really recommend stocky philodendrons. So this one is a Philodendron Birkin. This one is a Philodendron Lemon Lime. I also have, I'm not sure if I can fit it into this whole frame, but this is a Philodendron Prince of Orange. So these new leaves on the Philodendron Prince of Orange and the Lemon Lime, they come in the color of the name. I know it looks a little bit more purple from my lights, but this is a brand new leaf that's unfurling right now, and it turns into more of a green color as it gets more mature. I love this plant, although it is getting to the point where I don't really know what to do with this particular plant because it's getting really big. It's about 2 feet from here to here, from the widest points. My apologies if the plant is a little bit dirty because I literally just dropped another plant I want to show you guys on the plant, and a little bit of dirt got everywhere. But I really love this Philodendron Prince of Orange. I got it as this size pot. I believe it's a 6-inch pot. But it's grown for me so fast. I want to say it put out about like 6 new leaves in the last 3 months that I had him. So it's been growing very profusely. Otherwise, I have this lemon lime right here that I also got, also growing very profusely. It's in a different soil medium, and it's been growing slightly slower than this one, the orange, and it makes me wonder if I need to change the medium. This is what happens when you live with 5 people. But the new leaves on this one comes out to be the light lemon lime color, which is awesome. Actually, no, this is called Philodendron Moonlight. But it's supposed to get about the same size as the Philodendron Orange. Another type I can think of is the Philodendron Birkin. This is rather a juvenile form, so it doesn't have the signature Birkin leaves, the white stripes that it usually has, but it will be developing it throughout its life as it gets bigger. But what I wanted to show you guys is that there's a bunch of different sizes of these columnar philodendrons you can get. They're really easy to take care of, they're very satisfying to watch grow because they also grow really fast, and they come in so many different types. They're so pretty. There's so many different ones. If you want to get really fancy, you can get a variegated, like a white wizard, pink princess, something like that. If you want to get simple, I got this little one for $10 from Facebook. So there are a bunch of different places you can go to get little guys like this, or bigger ones. For plant parents who don't have artificial lighting available, who may live in basements and might not have windows that allow for lots of natural light access, I recommend snake plants. This is a plant I dropped, so it looks a little bit sad in the pot right now, but these are super easy to take care of. These are so incredibly low maintenance. I think since I first purchased this plant, I've watered it maybe once, and that was sometime in the summer. And even still, it has shot off all these babies. Ugh. And more back here. They do grow quite fast if you give them brighter light, but they'll do just fine in a lower light situation. And they also don't need lots of water because of these thick stems, I suppose. They keep a lot of water in the plant itself. So I usually can tell when to water by squishing one of the blades and feeling how soft it is. Usually I won't let it get too soft. I will kind of feel it out, and if it's firmer than your thumb, I would say I would water it. Another plant that is amazing for low light conditions is the ZZ plant. This is a ZZ Raven, which means that it has black foliage. Some people call it ZZ Midnight, some people call it ZZ Black. There's a bunch of different names that goes around. I believe ZZ Raven is a trademark name from a grower in Florida, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But this plant for me has been extremely slow growing, despite the fact that I give it good amount of light. It gets the same amount of light as all my plants, 16 hours in grow light, and southwest facing window with a sheer curtain. In fact, I got slightly frustrated that mine wasn't showing any growth, and so I decided to dig it up and see how it was doing, and I saw that it was giving me a tiny little shoot after having it for close to a year. So I'm very happy to see that it is, doing well. But this also does not need a lot of water. It has very thick tuberous roots that almost look like potatoes, and they can hold on to lots and lots of moisture. So I've heard Nick Pileggi from Philly Foliage say if you're watering it more than you're paying your rent, you're watering it too much. So I've been watering it basically what I pay my rent once a month, and that's been going really well for me. Do you have a friend who always says, I have way too many plants, I can't have any more plants physically in my space? I recommend a little plant throne. The likelihood is that if they have a lot of plants and they really don't want any more space, they already probably have all the things they need for planty necessities, unless they specifically ask you for it. And personally, as a person who lives in a tiny little bedroom in a tiny little Toronto house shared by 5 other people and 2 other people in the basement, I would really love a plant throne like this where I can use some vertical space and still decorate my plants without having to compromise on horizontal space where I could be putting more plants. You know what I mean? So this guy actually lives on my little bookshelf up there, and it houses this string of spades on top of it. And it sits like that. And highlights how beautifully trailing it is. Speaking of bookshelf, I was thinking about showing you guys around my room and showing you guys the plants I have in here. I counted the other day, and it turns out I have about close to 80 plants in my tiny little bedroom. So if you guys are interested, let me know down in the comments. And speaking of string of spades, I think this would make a great gift for somebody who's really into hanging plants, who's into succulents but may not have a lot of space. These are really easy to take care of. I feel like I keep saying that for every single plant, but I genuinely do mean it when I say it. I wouldn't recommend any of these plants if they were impossible to take care of. I think these are super cool because it has a different leaf shape than your traditional string of hearts, despite the fact that they're in the same family. They're both Senecio. They also developed kind of this silver sort of veining on the leaf, as well as the pointy spade shape that's very different to a traditional string of hearts that has the purple and like the silver veining. So I thought this was really unique. For friends who don't have a lot of horizontal space, I also recommend macrame hangers. I personally find them very handy. I have about 10 plants hung up in macrame hangers right now, and as a person who has to use a lot of vertical space, it's become so handy, and it's been one of the ways I've been able to buy more plants. For someone who loves flowers but you yourself don't really know what to get them, I really highly recommend oxalis. It has a beautiful movement to itself. They're very easy to take care of. I water this when I remember it. It looks like flowers, and they actually bloom themselves as well, and they have these beautiful, almost lavender, light pinkish kind of colored blooms, and they're beautiful. Unfortunately, mine hasn't bloomed yet, but I'll get there. The nice thing is that these are also edible, so they kind of taste like a fruity kind of salad green. I think it'd be really good as a salad green, but yeah, for somebody who's interested in different edible plants as well, this would be a really good gift idea. They also have a green version as well, and they do come around quite cheaply during St. Patrick's time, so if you want to grab one for yourself cheaply, that's a good time to get it. Otherwise, I know that these are very easy to start as cobs, and they are easily purchasable at your local garden center or even Amazon if you really want to do that. And last but not least, I don't actually have the plan to show it to you, but if you have to give a gift to somebody you don't like, it could be a coworker that you accidentally picked the name of as a Secret Santa. It could be a family member you don't really get along with and you don't really want to get them anything, but the rest of the family is like, why aren't you getting them anything? So you have to get them something? Then get them one of these Calathea White Fusions. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong, but they have, how you call it, a fleeting beauty. The variegation is very unstable, it's very hard to take care of, it's very finicky, it needs high humidity, it needs distilled water, it can't have tap water if you don't want brown edges. All in all, very easy to kill. Thank you for watching all the way through the end, and make sure to subscribe if you want to watch more gardening content coming from us, and make sure to give us a thumbs up if you like this video as well. Happy holidays, and have a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Thank you for watching. Bye!